This is the Live Well and Thrive podcast, hosted by Michael Torchia, health and wellness expert. It's time to shape up, America.
Hi, it's Mike Torchia. Welcome to Live Well and Thrive. On this show, I'm going to bring an inspirational story to you because this young man, I've watched him grow on the show Cobra Kai. And I actually had a chance to work with him a few weeks ago on a TV series. This man is a force to be reckoned, and you'll certainly understand that after you hear this interview. So if you have anybody that you really care about and you think they need something to inspire their lives, you need to share this episode. Dallas, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I got to say, I've met you on the set of a TV series, which we really can't talk about in detail. And I was just really impressed by your energy, your attitude, how well you got along with the other actors, how you were nailing your lines, just the professionalism, especially for a young man like you. But also I've watched you grow, from this little kid to this mature man who's very confident, and you are actually very much like the character you play on Cobra Kai.
Yeah, no, I definitely am. I think I started out whenever I was 9 years old, and people used to always say like I was an old soul just because of who I was, and I get that personality from both of my parents. That's just how they are, and the professionalism was from them. And being able to grow on the show from being 14 years old to now being 18 years old, I'm not even a minor on set anymore. It's a completely different atmosphere on set.
Yeah, because you were a young kid. And then you're a lot taller than
yes,
I thought, man.
A lot taller.
I was like, damn.
It was funny. The first time that I walked on the show of season 6 of Cobra Kai, everybody remembered me as a good 5'2" kid. Next thing you know, I come back on the show getting ready for stunt training, and they all look at me like, "That's not Dallas, right?" Like, no way. And I'm 5'10" now. Everybody was so shocked.
Man, you sprouted
big time, fast.
I was like, shit. I was like, wait a minute. Boy, he grew.
Yes, I did. People are very surprised about that.
But it was perfect for the role because you were this feisty young man that, that just like hated the world. And you just had this anger. And then when I saw you with the new season, you just had a whole nother maturity, confidence. You kind of shook off that young kind of buck feeling, and you really were focused.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed with your work. And I said, my God, you're going to inspire other young people that to pursue your dreams. And even if you have all the odds against you, if you stay focused and stay determined, you can overcome anything.
Yeah.
So you are that character.
No, definitely. I mean, it's such an inspirational story of Kenny just because of the fact that it is kind of a direct homage to my life in the general. Like, nobody expected me to become an actor and be successful as far as being on Cobra Kai and doing all these other projects at first. But I just remember, you hear a lot of hate from a lot of different people, but if you keep your head straight and stay focused, you're going to be able to defy any odds as long as you believe in yourself at the end of the day. And that's how it was for me. I always said I wanted to be the best at whatever I did. And whenever I moved to Los Angeles, my passion was to become a great actor, just like people like Denzel Washington, how Michael B. Jordan is doing such a great job. That's what I wanted to be. And, every single day I just continue to work hard on my craft and watch other greats from past movies. And that's how I can continue to inspire myself and keep going.
Now, did you begin martial art training on your own when you were younger, or was it for this show specifically?
So I started whenever I was about 5. And I did that from about 5 to 7 years old, Taekwondo. But I stopped because I ended up focusing more on football at the time. Because I ended up being a quarterback for my team. But it's just interesting that I was able to find a young picture of me back in the day, and it just kind of reminds me of how much I loved martial arts. So I ended up getting into kickboxing for a little bit at 12 years old. Did that for I think a year, and then next a year later after that, I booked Cobra Kai, and that's when I really started to get locked in and honed in on stunt training.
Now, how did you get the audition?
I got it from my agents. I got it from my agents back in 2020, December 4th of 2020. It's crazy how I remember the same date. But, I remember I had heard about Cobra Kai, but I didn't know too much about it. I didn't even think about the fact that, Ralph Macchio and William Zabka were actually in the show. But I really was interested in the character of Kenny, and I said, why not do this? This is an incredible opportunity. I did the audition, and about 3 weeks later, they were like, we want to cast him. And I was like, no callback, no pin. They're like, no, we want to cast the kid. But I had another project in the works at the moment, so I wasn't able to do it at first. And it came down to the last 30 minutes for Netflix and Fox to make a decision on if I was going to be able to do the project. And Fox said, okay, we'll let him do it. And the other project did not get picked up, and I was able to move with Cobra Kai full time.
Wow.
It's crazy how the Lord works.
Yeah, really, it's incredible. But your character is so much like you, your personality. So how it comes through in the character, like you could see you really relate to the character, and you understand his mindset and how he had to evolve. But also, when you were doing the martial art movements, you could see you're a trained martial artist.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I mean, no complaints about some of the other young actors, but man, their moves.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're the real thing.
I appreciate
And when
that.
I saw
Thank
some
you.
of the other young actors throwing what they call a kick and a punch and a whatever, I was like, man, this young man, he's got it all.
I
He's
appreciate
got
that.
the energy, he's got the attitude, he's got the moves. He's what a martial artist is. I've been around a lot of martial artists for like Don and Bob Wall, who was Bruce Lee's one of his closest friends, and many, Jean-Claude and all these other people. And you have that it factor.
Thank you.
You really do. And I look forward to watching you evolve as an actor.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's big things ahead of you.
Thank you so much. No, I really appreciate that. I want to give a big, big shout out to the stunt coordinator on the show. So Don Lee, he's a stunt coordinator, right? And we had such a close relationship from the moment that I got to set when I was 14. He was the one who trained me every day. We had a close bond where I could trust him in any situation. If I didn't feel comfortable about something, he would quickly go to the writers and change it for me. Or if I, wanted to tweak this, he would just show me my movements and make sure that I was relaxed and comfortable in the situation. And I think the best part about his teaching was that it was perfect with the timeline of how I was growing up as well, especially in the show and in real life. So whenever I was 14 and in the show, I had just started martial arts, so I wasn't the best, obviously. Then he said, I wanted to keep evolving you. And then go into season 5. I'm getting a little bit better. He's starting to become one of the fiercest competitors in Cobra Kai. People are starting to look out for Kenny Payne. But he said, I remember this, and he said, but I want you to know, this is back in season 4 conversation. He said, but once we get to season 6, around there, season 6 or season 7, we didn't know what we were going to do at the time. He said, you're going to be the best fighter out there. He said, but we're not going to rush it too fast because it's going to be confusing on the timeline because, he wasn't a great martial artist when he started.
Yeah.
So once we got to season 6, we just took it up a notch. We would watch Blade. I remember that was the movie. That was the movie that really allowed me to have that confidence that I needed on Cobra Kai every single day whenever we had the fight scenes. Because the biggest thing with me before, whenever I was doing my fights, I'd always be so tense. My shoulders would be up here. And Don would always come over to me and be like, think about Wesley. Think about Wesley in that moment. And Blade, I just remember him. He knew how to clock everything. He was the most chill martial artist I've ever seen. And just because of that, that's what helped me implement that thought process into the character of Kenny. And that's what ended up showing on camera. Yeah,
Wesley, I don't know if he's a 5th or 6th degree black belt, but he's an incredible martial artist. I remember when he was training for that at Gold's, then he would practice his moves. He was always stretching because he felt that weight training was making him too stiff. So he'd always do a lot of stretching. But he's a perfectionist.
Yes.
I mean, when we had the memorial for Bob Wall, Wesley was there, and Don, and all the top martial artists, paid the respect, and we were all there. And all we did was talk about the martial arts.
Yeah.
And it's like a brotherhood.
It's beautiful.
And but also too, what was it like growing up? Did your parents encourage you to pursue acting or athletics? What was your growing up experience?
Yeah, so my dad is a professional baseball coach for the Anaheim Angels, and my brother is a professional baseball coach for the Seattle Mariners. Wow. So baseball has been in my life since basically I could walk, talk, anything. And all I wanted to do growing up was be a professional Major League Baseball player and follow in my family's footsteps. So every day at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the cages. Every single day before school, I'm locked in on that. That's all that I wanted to do. But it's so funny. People are always shocked. Like, how did acting get into the mix? How is that even a thing? Well, my neighbor was actually in a few movies. And this is whenever I lived in Houston, Texas. And I think through him, I was able to get in contact with a lady named Diana Horner, a part of the National Performers Academy. They called my mom. They were like, we would love your son to at least try this little showcase in Houston to see if he has what it takes to make it in Hollywood. And my mom's looking like, my son has never had any experience in acting, no plays, no anything, no coaching, nothing. But I said, Ma, why wouldn't I do it? You know, I'm a 9-year-old kid. I just wanted to try something new. So I ended up doing it. And it was the best experience of my life. I had to do a little monologue and an audition. And they said, you know, your son, he has the face, he has the attitude to go to L.A. and do big things. Nice. So my mom said, okay, I'm going to sacrifice everything. And she took a chance for me. And we ended up going to L.A. I did the National Performers Academy where it was I had to do a monologue in front of 30 managers, agents, producers, and directors. Mind you, no experience at all. I'm just kind of winging it. But I'm having a great time while doing it, and I'm learning more about the business. And I started to find this kind of love for it that I had with baseball as well. And that's what made it so powerful for me in that moment. So I did it, and I ended up getting myself a manager and an agent, Tina Treadwell, Osbrink, love y'all. And after that, that was it. I became an actor, just like that.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
But it bit you, that bug, to pursue it,
yes,
right?
it did.
Forget about baseball.
I had to. I said, you know what? We're gonna have baseball as a step aside right now. It's gonna take a back seat, and we're gonna see if this works. And my mom and I, we moved to Los Angeles for 3 months. That was the plan, just to see how it was, get an idea of the business. And I ended up booking consistently, whether they were little jobs or bigger, and then they kept getting bigger. They kept increasing. And the next thing you know, I ended up staying out here for 9 to 10 years.
Wow.
And I haven't looked back since.
Now, is your mom back in Texas?
She's still with me. Yeah, she's still in L.A. She's still in L.A. Obviously, so I'm a senior in high school now, going to college next year. We're going to decide what we're going to end up doing. But, without my mom, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this.
Wow, I'm sure your whole family's proud of you.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And now, so in preparation for Cobra Kai, did you get on a certain training program, nutrition program? Did you do specific preparation, or you kind of already were there?
I think I was kind of already there. We didn't do too many specifics with Cobra Kai, but I definitely just changed my nutritional diet a little bit. Yeah. I wasn't eating as much crap that I was before, and I think I started to work out a lot heavier than I was before, getting in the gym almost every day at the apartment complex that I lived to start to, lift more. And then we'd obviously do a little work whenever we were on the set with them. But for the most part, it was just about the martial arts, just about the, stunt choreography, getting down the basics. But yeah, I think the biggest thing that I wanted was to be just like Tanner Buchanan and Jacob Bertrand. I remember I wanted 6-packs like them. That's what I always said. I was like, by season 6, I'm going to get a 6-pack. And sure enough, I did. I was
Good
so.
for you, man.
Oh yeah. So every day I worked. And that's how it is. I started to work out more just in preparation and get back in the gym consistently.
Now, do you get a lot of fan mail?
I do.
Nice.
It's really cool.
And what are some of the questions they ask you?
People, a lot of the time they ask me, how did I even get into it? Who really inspires me? And whenever, I think the biggest thing that I always see is like, whenever you feel down and it feels like your hope is lost with your business, with acting or whatever is going on in life, like what keeps you going? What keeps you inspired at the end of the day?
Wow. You are an old soul for sure.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So now, is there going to be a spinoff, you think, of Cobra Kai?
I feel like there will be at some point. I think they're going to have those conversations whenever the ending of Cobra Kai is completely released out in February. But I think that's definitely going to be a conversation. I mean, I would love to do anything that continues the character of Kenny. But yeah, I think they're going to decide about that soon. Yeah,
I would love to see that because the show's got some rhythm now.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that everybody's coming together. They kind of were fighting amongst each other. Now you're like one unit,
Yeah.
you know, and you've got this chemistry going. It'd be beautiful to see more because every episode is inspirational. You know, you see all the things that are happening, the things that are thrown at you, almost look like you're going to be thrown off of the competition, but then you make it back and you did that comeback to help them out at the end.
Absolutely.
And then it was golden to see you had a fresh attitude. You were a team player.
Yeah.
But you also became a team leader. Before you were just this young, feisty guy.
Of course, yeah.
You know, but you honed in on your skills. So it was nice to see just the whole attitude with your fellow cast members together as unity. Because, you know, I watch a lot of programming and I'm different from Don. He barely watches TV. And, you know, a lot of it shit is crap.
Yeah.
So much drama. But even though there were drama in Cobra Kai, there always was a story of inspiration or a glimpse of hope.
Yeah.
And so it's a show like the years ago when I was a kid, we had the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family, all these shows. But you learned about life.
Yeah.
And in the show, it showed you that you were like this renegade young man, just full of spit and fire. And then you became a mature adult, young adult.
Absolutely.
And you helped bring people together. And even though you had your differences, you put it aside. And you worked together in unity.
Yeah.
You know, and I like seeing shows that inspire people to do the right thing.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, Cobra Kai shows that the underdog always has a shot. You know, even when it feels like you cannot win. You know, if you put it to your mind, you put the work in every day, you can be a top fighter, just like how, you know, Miguel Diaz was in the show and everything. And you know, it's really cool how you have the differences between, you know, stemming from the 80s with Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence. And, you know, they have their moments of, you know, togetherness, a brotherhood, and they have their moments where they disagree heavily and they can't stand each other. But at the end of the day, they always come together for the students and for the collective, you know, bargaining with everybody. So it's a beautiful story how they end up intertwining those two completely different universes, but putting them together and making such a great and powerful.
You know what's great too? Even though they're trying to work it out and they have their problems, you always root for both of them.
Always, yeah.
You know, just the way it is. Just, you know, and Marty Cove, he's just a character. And you see moments where he's actually like a human, but then you see this crazy dark side.
Of course, quickly.
You know, right?
Yes.
But there's something so likable about Marty Cove, you know, and all of them together and you and the other cast members, it's like the perfect recipe, you know, the right ingredients.
Absolutely.
They did an amazing job with casting.
Thank you.
To put you all together because it just works.
Yeah.
You know, and because I remember, you know, series like Entourage, I'd be on the set and I'd see the Entourage, they had the same kind of chemistry. Just everybody understood each other.
Yeah.
You know, and the Cobra Kai has that. I hope they do spin it off to something else and make it as magical as the show is now.
Thank you.
But you really, like I said, impressed me when the first day we met. And I'm so excited that you're going to be doing so many other projects. I know Sean's thinking something about for you. Sean Kanan's thinking about other things he's working on where he can work with you.
Absolutely.
How did you feel working with Sean?
It was outstanding. It was so good because, you know, the first time I worked with him, I'm trying to think, did I work with him on season 5 at some point? I don't think so. I think it was straight up in season 6 whenever we first worked with each other on Cobra Kai. And getting a chance to work with him was really cool just because obviously everybody knows Mike Barnes. Yeah. And he has this type of infectious energy that everybody gravitates towards, so we all was able to connect with him really good, you know, and understand more about the business and acting in general and how he got to start up. So, you know, and then being able to have the scenes in another project, we can't talk too much about it though, you know, being able to talk to him there, you know, you just see how much of an insightful individual he is and how much he adds to the table of acting and everything. And you know, so I learned so much more from him just by our quick conversations. So I'm very appreciative of the time I got to work with Sean.
Yeah, he's good people. And Michelle's just, they're both lovely souls.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we became very fast friends. And he's like a big kid at times, you know. He's a very inspirational force, but sometimes we go out to eat and him and Michelle just joke around. You know, it's not like being in Hollywood, typical actors. I've been around some of the biggest stars in Hollywood. They can't even shut it off.
No.
What the fuck? Just relax.
Right, please. Right? Yes, I don't know what you're talking about.
And it just, after getting to know Sean and his wife, Michelle, they're real people.
Yeah.
And they know when to put the acting hat away and just have fun. I remember we went to Rayo's for dinner, and they've never eaten there before. And I said, well, they got the greatest meatballs. He goes, well, I'm a chef myself, Mike, and Michelle's Italian. We'll see. I mean, we must have got like 10 meatballs.
Like that?
We were chowing down on the meatballs, and that sauce was pulpy and the garlic. You could smell the sauce. And Sean goes, Mikey, I took it home, and then I put it in the freezer. I had to go to Vegas. When I came back, I dreamt about heating up the meatballs that were in the freezer.
Absolutely, yes. That's how it feels sometimes. Absolutely,
right.
Yeah.
So do you like to cook?
I cook a little bit, just a little bit. I'm starting to learn a little bit more from my mom now. My favorite dish, I just love doing like salmon, rice and beans, yams. Put that together.
So what's your typical day? Like, what do you have for breakfast?
So for breakfast, I'll usually do oatmeal, or I'll make a quick omelet before school. And if not, if I'm running a little bit late for school or I gotta move quickly, I'll just do a little sausage breakfast sandwich and then eat it on the road.
And then what about lunch?
Lunch, I usually have like salmon rice, broccoli, rice and beans, and then some yams probably. Or my mom will make like spaghetti meat sauce, something like that.
And snack, do you snack fruits?
I snack
nuts,
a little bit. I think I eat a lot of pineapples. I eat a lot of strawberries and grapes. Yeah. That's the biggest thing right there. Whenever I'm at school and there's nothing there, I'm not eating at the moment. We just had nutrition. I'm eating my grapes. That's for sure. Everybody knows that. Yeah. If I don't walk into class with some grapes, something's not right.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I loved cherries.
Okay.
And there's beautiful fiber in the cherries, but I also love grapes too. So I was always eating apples. I was eating a lot of different fruits. And I found later on that fiber is so essential for the body. But also you got to watch out that you don't eat too much fruit later on in the day because it's an energy food. Because you got to remember your metabolism is burning at the highest in the beginning of the day. As it goes on, it goes to rest mode and then sleep mode.
Yeah.
So I always tell people if you're going to have anything like fruit or anything, eat it early in the day while you're still active.
That makes sense.
Because it's an energy food. And then as the day goes on, you're having more green vegetables, more higher quality protein.
Absolutely.
Just to understand how the body works, And I find that, and there's days when I don't feel like I need as much protein, I eat less. If I feel I need more carbohydrate, I feel a little like maybe I didn't get enough sleep, I increase the carbohydrate. So this way I have more energy. So I listen to my body.
That makes sense.
Opposed to like saying, oh, it's my third day, it's my cheat day, or whatever,
Right, okay, I see what you mean.
I think if you connect with the body and you understand what your needs are, you'll never feel like you're on a diet. And you'll always enjoy the process, and you'll have plenty of energy. Because there's going to be days where maybe you don't want to eat that whole bowl of oatmeal.
Right.
Maybe I should have a little less. Or maybe you have a scene where you're going to be very active. You don't want all that heaviness in your stomach.
Okay, yeah.
But for sure, thank you for sharing all this and your story, advice, an inspirational story is really going to impress upon our audience. And I want you to come back and hopefully we can talk about the series that we were recently in.
Yes.
Because we're going to keep shooting, by the way, after the holidays. And I want to let you know, by the way, I just made a deal with Fubu Studios. And they are now bringing my show to their channel.
It's incredible.
It's going to be on Amazon. It's going to be on Hulu. It's going to be on a huge array of top platforms. There's actually 1.8 billion viewers of their network.
Wow.
And so they're bringing me on as their first podcast.
That's incredible. Congrats.
So this episode will be on the Fubu network.
I'm so happy.
So there's going to be a lot of people hearing your story. So get ready for a lot more fan mail.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for the world to see it. It's going to be awesome.
My pleasure. Thank you for watching. If you have someone you care about, you need to share this episode. This young man's story is incredibly inspiring. And please remember, subscribe. We need your support. Thanks for watching.